At the end of this lesson, you will know the usage of the following punctuation marks: full stop, exclamation mark, question mark, and comma. You will also be able to explain these punctuation marks and their correct usage to your students. What are punctuation marks? Punctuation marks are symbols that are used to separate words and phrases within a sentence, depending on the meanings of the words and phrases. Without correct punctuation, the meaning of the sentence can be lost or misunderstood. For example, read the following. It is hard to understand what is being said. Now read this. Now we know where the sentence ended and the next began. We also know the tone of the second sentence because of the exclamation mark. Let's start with the first punctuation rule. A sentence always begins with a capital letter. The word I is always written in a capital letter. Nouns that are names of unique things like cities, countries, or people are also written with capital letters, whether they are in the beginning, middle, or end of a sentence. In this example, the word English will be written in capital letters because it is the name of a language. Karachi will be written with a capital letter because it is the name of a city. Now let's go over the main punctuation marks: full stop, question mark, exclamation mark, and comma. A full stop is used to show the end of a sentence. A question mark is used at the end of a direct question. An exclamation mark is used when something is shouted. It is also used after a strong feeling is expressed. It is also used after an order is given. A comma is used to separate three or more things in a list. It is also used to indicate a slight pause in a sentence. It is also used to separate parts of a sentence. The sentence is about Maria raising her hand, but we can indicate who Maria is by using commas.
Commas can help us give additional information without disturbing the rest of the sentence.
begin the lesson by asking students to remember the lesson on sentences. Ask your students the following questions. Explain to your students that a full stop tells a sentence when to stop. That's why it comes at the end of a sentence. To introduce question mark, write the following on the board.
What is the difference between the two sentences? Which one is an asking sentence and which one is the telling sentence?
Explain to your students that at the end of an asking sentence, you put question mark, and at the end of a telling sentence, you put full stop. Write telling sentences and asking sentences on the board and ask students to come and make either a full stop or a question mark at the end of the sentences. Practice several times till you are sure students understand the use of both marks. Before you introduce exclamation marks, say the same sentence twice. The first time you should say it in a bored voice, without any emotion. And the second time, you should say it with excitement. That's great. That's great!
Did you notice anything different in the way I said the sentence?
Let the students answer and then clarify that the second time you used a lot of excitement and happiness in your voice.
Sentences in which we are showing a lot of happiness, sadness, or excitement end with an exclamation mark.
Write the following sentences on the board. Ask students to come and make exclamation marks on the board. Students should also tell you why they are putting exclamation marks. Is there happiness, sadness, fear, or excitement in the sentence? To introduce comma, write the following sentence on the board.
How many fruits do I like?
4.
When we have more than two things in a sentence, we use a comma.
Write similar sentences on the board and ask students to come and make commas in the right place. Tell your students you do not put a comma after the second last word. Point to the sentences on the board when talking so that students can see the right places to put the commas. Once you have introduced all punctuation marks to your class, play this game to practice using the correct punctuation. Each card should be about the size of a notebook page, and the mark should also be big enough to see clearly. You can even ask the groups to make their own set of cards. Just give them the paper. If students don't understand a word, provide them the meanings.
What will come at the end of the sentence? Show me the answer.
If a team chooses the wrong answer, explain why that one is not used. Some sentences you can use for this exercise. Do the same exercise with commas as well. You can make a blank card and a comma card.
Do we need a comma in this sentence? Raise the right card.
For the first sentence, students should raise the blank card. If they make a mistake, explain that there are only two things the baby likes to do. So, we do not need a comma. For the second sentence, also ask, where does the comma go? There are more than two colors I like. So we put a comma between blue and red. Once the students get good at this game, instead of writing the sentences yourself, you should ask students to come and write different kinds of sentences on the board. Group members can come up with a list of questions for other groups and write those on the board. Another variation of the game is
I will say a sentence, and if you have the right mark on your shirt, then you must run over to me. When will you finish your work?
Keep your sentences simple. Play such games to make learning fun for your students.